In the bustling heart of the 21st century, there lived a man of extraordinary intellect, Dr. Julian Vincent. Highly respected in his field, Dr. Vincent was a devoted scientist, known for his relentless pursuit of knowledge. He had dedicated his life to science, solving mysteries that baffled many. But then, life presented him with a mystery of its own, a riddle that no one had been able to solve. Dr. Vincent was diagnosed with a rare disease, an ailment that was untreatable by the medical standards of his time. As the grim reality of his situation dawned upon him, he found himself in a battle he never anticipated, a battle against time and his failing health. But as any man who had spent his life chasing solutions, Dr. Vincent refused to accept defeat. After many sleepless nights and exhaustive thinking, an audacious idea took form in his brilliant mind. A decision that pushed the boundaries of what was known and accepted. He decided to embrace cryonic sleep, a process where the body is preserved at extremely cold temperatures with the hope of revival in the future. A leap of faith into the unknown, a gamble against time. He was well aware of the experimental nature of cryonics. He knew that nobody had woken up from such a sleep before. But the prospect of a possible cure in the future gave him hope. He held on to the chance, however slim, that he might open his eyes again, in a world advanced enough to give him his old life back. He placed his bets on the progress of mankind, ready to embark on a timeless journey towards the promise of a healed tomorrow. After what felt like an endless night, Dr. Julian Vincent finally woke up. He blinked his eyes open to an unfamiliar landscape, a world that was startlingly different from the one he had left behind. The future had arrived. Before him, soaring structures of steel and glass stretched towards the sky, their gleaming surfaces reflecting the brilliance of the sun. The air hummed with the distant buzz of vehicles that levitated above the ground, zipping through the air with breathtaking speed. The progress of science was evident everywhere, from the cure to his once incurable disease to the sophisticated technology that seemed to be woven into every aspect of life. Joy filled his heart when he discovered that he was no longer a prisoner of his own body. The disease that once threatened his life was gone. He was healthy and robust, every fiber of his being brimming with newfound vitality. His successful awakening from cryonic sleep was hailed as a miracle, an unprecedented feat that crowned him as the first and only person to have ever come back from such a deep sleep. Yet, despite his physical wellness, a feeling of unease began to creep into his heart. As he navigated through this high-tech world, he felt out of place, much like a fish gasping for breath on dry land. The customs of this new society were alien to him. The language, once familiar, was now laced with terms and phrases he didn't understand. But what baffled him most was the emotional void he sensed around him. In a world where technology had advanced beyond his wildest dreams, people seemed to have distanced themselves from their emotions. Faces were expressionless, conversations lacked warmth, and the concept of empathy seemed to have faded into oblivion. In the heart of this technological utopia, humanity seemed to have lost its essence. Dr. Julian found himself grappling with a cold conundrum, yearning for the warmth of human emotions in a world that had seemingly forgotten what it felt like to truly feel. During one of his exploration trips, Dr. Julian chanced upon an antique store, where he found a book about history. Leafing through its pages, he was taken aback when he stumbled upon his name. The book told a fascinating tale of a man from the past, a man who would awaken from a long sleep and become the savior of the world. This narrative puzzled him, as he couldn't recall performing any such heroic deeds. Julian's mind spun with questions. The strangeness of this future began to unsettle him more and more. Driven by his inquisitive nature, he embarked on a mission to unravel the truth behind this reality. He dived deep into research, poring over records and documents, seeking answers. The truth he uncovered was far more shocking than he had ever imagined. This world was not just a result of scientific advancement over time. Instead, it was a consequence of his experiment from the past. His ambitious venture into cryonic sleep had unforeseen and drastic implications. It had stripped people of their passion for life, reducing their existence to mere mechanical motions devoid of emotions. But the revelation that shook him to the core was that he hadn't truly awakened. His physical body still lay in its cryonic sleep, frozen in time. His consciousness, instead, had been transferred into this simulated future, a digital world created by the advanced technology of his time. He was living in a matrix of artificial reality, far removed from the tangible world he once knew. This realization filled him with a sense of dread and urgency, and he knew he had to find a way back to reality and rectify the consequences of his past actions. Fueled by a determination to amend the mistakes of his past, Julian Vincent took it upon himself to guide this emotionless society back to the richness of human feelings. He formulated a plan that was as ambitious as the world was devoid of emotions. It was a plan to reintroduce the world to the concept of emotions, to revive the humanity that had been buried under layers of cold technology. He began by establishing workshops and seminars, open to everyone, where he would teach people about the beauty of emotions. He introduced them to laughter, a wonderful sound that held the power to lighten hearts and bring joy. He taught them how to express their sorrow through tears, and how such an act could bring a sense of relief, a feeling of cleansing. He showed them how to love, how to open their hearts to others, and how to share and care. He described the thrill of excitement, the warmth of happiness, the calmness of peace, the fiery spark of anger, and the depth of sadness. Julian worked tirelessly, reaching out to people, one emotion at a time. Slowly, he began to notice a change. The people who had initially attended his workshops out of curiosity started understanding and experiencing the emotions he described. Laughter began to echo in the air, tears began to fall, and love began to bloom in the hearts of people. Society, once devoid of emotions, began to awaken to the beauty of feelings. Simultaneously, Julian plunged himself into research, seeking a way to wake his real body up from cryonic sleep. He knew that if he wished to rectify the mistakes of his past fully, he needed to be present in the real world. He reached out to the brightest minds of this new world, working hand in hand with them to decipher the complex maze of cryonics and virtual reality. His journey was filled with challenges and roadblocks, but Julian persevered. With each passing day, he inched closer to his goals, driven by the promise of a future where humanity thrived amidst technological advancements, not beneath them. After an arduous journey filled with countless trials and tribulations, a breakthrough finally came. With the help of the scientific minds of the simulated future and his tireless determination, Julian Vincent managed to unravel the complex web that held his physical body in cryonic sleep. The moment he had yearned for finally arrived. He woke up in the real world, the world he had left behind all those years ago. His awakening was not the only victory. Back in the simulated world, his teachings sparked an emotional revolution. The once cold and emotionless society had transformed. Laughter echoed through the virtual streets, love stories unfolded in the digital realm, tears of joy and sorrow marked significant moments, and empathy began to bloom in the hearts of people. His teachings had left an indelible mark on the people, reintroducing them to the lost world of human emotions. Once he was back in his own time, the experience of the simulated future made him reflect deeply. He realized the importance of emotions, of the depth and richness they added to life. He recognized the dangers of cryonic sleep, of the potential disconnect it could create between humanity and emotions. Realizing that progress at the cost of losing one's essence was not advancement, but a setback, he decided to steer his research in a new direction. Dear Julian spent the rest of his days dedicated to making the world a better place, not just technologically, but emotionally as well. He used his knowledge and expertise to balance the scales of science and emotions, ensuring that one didn't overpower the other. The lessons he learned in the unknown future never left him. They lived within him, shaping his actions and decisions, guiding him towards creating a future where technology and emotions coexisted harmoniously. And so, Dr. Julian Vincent, the man who woke up from cryonic sleep and sparked an emotional revolution in a simulated world, lived out his days as a beacon of hope and balance, continuously striving for a better and more harmonious tomorrow. Thank you for watching. You could download the vocabulary PDF below. To stay up to date on our future videos, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, and let us know what you think in the comments below.